Welcome to Epic Stories. It began, as many of Holmes's most troubling cases did, in the early gray hours before sunrise, when London streets were still slick with last night's rain, and the city held its breath between dreams and waking. A sharp knock, deliberate but hushed, echoed through 221B Baker Street. I stirred from the armchair, groggy, but Holmes was already upright, unmoving, eyes bloodshot and fixed to a microscope beside a cluttered desk filled with cigarette ash, soil samples, and crumpled telegrams. "Enter," he called without looking. "Up." The door creaked open to reveal a man clad in the dark formal coat of a yeoman warder, the ceremonial guards of the Tower of London. But his posture lacked the pride of duty. He looked as if he had just witnessed a ghost commit treason. "It's gone," he whispered, voice cracking. "The imperial state crown." Holmes turned, his expression unreadable, but his mind already in motion. "The real one?" he asked. "From the jewel house?" The man nodded, pale. "It was there last night, and now it's been replaced." Within the hour, Holmes and I were being ushered through the secure halls of the tower by a squad of armed officials, the weight of the kingdom pressing down on the silence. Crown still sat in its glass case, glittering in the morning light. But Holmes immediately noticed it was a flawless replica. "What you're seeing is not a theft," he murmured, "but a performance." The security footage from the previous night was a seamless loop, an impossibility unless someone on the inside had orchestrated it. Holmes was methodical, tracing. Every access point, every name on every roster, cross-referencing past royal scandals and unclosed files. It wasn't long before a name emerged from the shadows of a decade-old case. Countess Annelise d'Evreux, a vanished French aristocrat, known not just for her beauty and charm, but for a string of museum and palace heists that defied logic and physics. Holmes had pursued her once, years ago, and failed. "She wasn't a thief," he told me that evening, as we walked the misty banks of the Thames. "She was an archivist of grief. Every jewel she stole held a memory she couldn't bear to lose." Over the next 48 hours, we followed an invisible trail hidden in the verses of Baudelaire, antique purchase orders signed with ghost names, and rare perfumes found only in a single Corsican boutique. Holmes deciphered a final clue hidden inside the folded wing of a preserved butterfly in a South Kensington curio shop, a message that led us beneath St. Dunstan's Cathedral. There, in the candle-lit gloom of forgotten crypts, we found her, Annelise, elegant even in the dust, standing beside a velvet-lined case containing the real crown. Her plan was more than symbolic. She had replaced the Black Prince's ruby with a nearly invisible hollow gem containing microfilm, classified intelligence detailing the movements of European agents during the upcoming royal tour. "It's not the crown I need," she said, softly as we approached. "It's what it holds, and what it meant to take it." She surrendered without resistance, her voice barely above a whisper as she looked Holmes in the eye. "You were always the only one who saw the wound behind the spectacle." The tower recovered its crown. The microfilm never made the headlines. But that night, as Holmes stood by the rain-streaked window of our flat, violin untouched in its case, he said something that has echoed in my mind ever since. "Watson, some crimes are not about possession. They're about remembrance. And some ghosts don't steal gold. They steal the past." He said no more, but I understood. The Countess hadn't tried to escape justice. She had simply wanted someone to remember her before history buried her entirely. And perhaps in catching her, Holmes had preserved something else, a part of himself, long lost in the pursuit of shadows.